Hello everyone, Eric here, and for today's video I am joined by SouthPark333Gaming. Say hello.
Hello. Um, how's it going?
Good. And
Everyone.
today we are going to be talking about the different incarnations of the Master, from Roger Delgado to Michelle Gomez, not including the ones from the Tom Baker era, because I say so. So, first up, the original Master, Roger Delgado. What do you think of him?
Well, I mean, he is a good master. He does the job quite well, and he's probably the best master. I mean, he was the original and all that. He can be a bit sort of some of his early episodes. He can be a bit sort of cliche bad guy. And he looks a bit like a cliche bad guy, a bit. He looks like the bad guy from like maybe like a children's TV show or something, a bit. But yeah, I like him. He's very good. He can be very creepy and sort of. One thing though, I always kind of find odd about the Master in general is how he's supposed to be as clever, maybe even a tiny bit cleverer than the Doctor, but like the Doctor can always defeat him, and it's kind of weird with Roger Delgado coming up with like schemes, and the Doctor being like, "But you didn't see this coming," and be like, "Oh no," and then he
Yeah,
just kind of gives
I'm,
up.
I'm gonna bring the nesting consciousness in to take over the world. Well, he can't tell you from me or anybody else here, can he? It. Crap.
Yeah,
Let me help you stop that. Yeah. Um, I've only seen Terror of the Autons, in terms of viewing of this version of the Master, and I thought he was was very good at like making just standing around or being calm seem evil. Like
yeah, yes,
his first scene, his first line, he's just standing there and he says,
I am usually referred to as the Master. Oh, is that so? Universally.
that is
yeah,
that is how you do that. That
yeah,
is wonderful. And that
indeed,
yes.
indeed.
So
Well,
next, Anthony Ainley went up against 4 incarnations of the Doctor all throughout the 80s. What do you think of the Anthony Ainley Master?
oh, well, he isn't as good as Roger Delgado, but he's better than most of the other masters, really. I like him, but in some of his early episodes, again, it can be a bit odd and awkward, like in Time Flight, where he dresses up as this really weird alien guy and stuff. It's he can be really really awkward sometimes, but when he's good, he's really cool. But when he isn't, he's just extremely awkward and weird. So it's like a sort of 50-50 thingy, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen of the Anthony Ainley Master, he's sort of one part Delgado and one part his own character.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he can be, scheming and clever at times, but sometimes he can just be pretty over the top, like, why isn't it working? You know?
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Eric Roberts only appeared as the Master in the TV movie, and most people thought he was rubbish in that. Do you think that?
Well, I mean, rubbish and rubbish. He did has had he did have sorry, he did have his moments, but we don't have many of them, and but he's better than John Sim and other masters. But I mean, he doesn't look like the master at all. I guess it's because he was like a worm and he possessed some guy, but still, they could have he could have possessed like a guy with a beard, I suppose. But I guess there's time for that. So yeah. It's like it's like they found just like the most sort of cliche bad guy from like a '90s American movie and just kind of
He just felt like off-brand Terminator. Just like,
yeah, it did.
you're the Master.
It really did. And the idea was pretty good with him sort of decaying and him falling apart and stuff.
Yeah,
But
but
they didn't do that,
that was only hinted at once with him tearing off his fingernail and flicking it to the
which
side, only to have it flicked right back at him.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, next master, I suppose.
So, Alex Mcqueen's master only appears in Big Finish, and I have not listened to any Big Finish stories he is in, so this is just gonna be you.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. He has a good voice for audio and all that. Again, he doesn't really look like the master, but he's still a nice guy, I suppose. He does some pretty good things here and there, and he's pretty cool. He's much better than Eric Roberts, and he's this, probably as good as Anthony Ainley, around the same level of thingy. Just a bit more of his own, but his own is pretty cool. But it's like sort of 25% Roger Delgado, and sort of 75% of his own. But his own is better than Anthony Ainley's. That's yeah. So that's the Alex Mcqueen master, sort of.
Yeah. I was saying in a previous recording, or we were both saying, rather, how if he had more hair and a beard, he would look more like the Master, but then that would also make him look more like Roger Delgado. So
Exactly.
we
Yeah.
might be biased a tiny bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, so, the first new series Master, Derek Jacobi, only appeared in one episode and was barely the Master in it at all, from what I've heard at least.
Yeah. Derek Jacobi. Well, he's pretty cool, but he was only the master for like 5 minutes. So, I mean, he looked pretty cool, and he looked kind of like the master, I suppose. He wasn't really.
If the Master cosplayed as the first Doctor.
Yeah, that's basically him. If the master started cosplaying. But oh my god, that is the worst idea ever. But yeah.
Someone make fan art of that right now.
Yeah, and post it to us. Anyways, yeah. So, he's hardly in it. I mean, I wish they just hadn't really done anything with John Sim and just been like, they've just kept Derek Jacobi. That would have been pretty cool. But oh no, they had to go with John Sim, didn't they? They had to, because I don't know, because that's new.
Because he's younger and he's young like Tennant, and not old like not Tennant.
Exactly. So, but John Sim is really awful, in almost every single way, isn't he? I mean, he is he's insane. There's this drumming thing, and like, where the hell did that come from? And then they tried to fix it in the end of time, but it didn't really work, and it's kind of really awful and messy, and he's just a mess, really.
In the Last of the Time Lords, he was obsessed with this drumming in his head, which was his heartbeat. So why was his heartbeat in his head? And then in the end of time, he was hungry.
Yeah,
Great villain, 10 out of 10. Done. Go home.
Exactly. I mean, and the worst thing is, if I remember correctly, when he gets shot in the Last of the Time Lords, the Doctor like holds him and like, and you go, it's like almost like you can feel there's a deleted scene where he like sings a song with the Master and starts like cuddling him. I wish you can almost feel that. That's probably a deleted scene somewhere about that with that, but the Doctor singing a lullaby for the Master. But yeah,
oh dear.
I really feel like they actually wrote that, but that's probably my messed up mind. But yeah, him eating people is really stupid as well, especially because he jumps into the air, then he turns into a blue skull thingy and eats people, and then he turns into a humanoid thing again, and then he I don't know. It's just really bad. Him eating chicken, but he's like really I don't know. Worst monster in my opinion. The worst monster.
Yeah, he was pretty much just like a bad Joker. He was like insane, but that was like all of his personality, really. And that's not really a personality to be insane.
No. Not.
Yeah, just stupid.
Yeah, just stupid.
Can you imagine what classic era Master episodes would be like if the drumming in the head was actually a thing, like Terror of the Autons, instead of...
I am usually referred to as the Master. Oh, is that so? Universally.
We would get, I am the Master.
And then you start like
You are
drumming.
the way. You will obey the drumming in my head.
That would be so goddamn awful. Especially because you would, I mean, yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
So, most recent incarnation of the Master, Missy.
Yay, Missy, who, uh, is kind of decent. She's better than Jun Sim, but she isn't too good. She's just kind of better than Jun Sim, and maybe slightly better than Eric Roberts. A bit better, actually. But yeah. She's pretty decent in her first story. I quite liked her in part one. Before I quite liked her sort of in Dark Water. She was alright in that, and she was pretty decent in Death in Heaven as well. Decent sort of. But then I really disliked her in The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. I don't know. But yeah, you have the opposite opinion, don't you?
Yes, I do. I thought she was rubbish in Dark Water, Death in Heaven, Series 8 finale, whatever you want to call it. I thought she was pretty much just like John Sim retread. But then in The Magician's Apprentice story, I thought she was a little bit better in that one, sort of like a character you love to hate type of thing.
Yeah.
But I still don't like her very much. But she's better than John Sim, so I shouldn't complain.
True that. True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that has been The Master Through the Ages. Thank you for joining me for this.
Well, you are very welcome.
And thank you for having the patience to do this twice.
No problem. No problem.
We, I might be in a video of his on his channel. Link
Yeah?
will be in the description to his channel. And until my next video, goodbye!
Bye.
Next one! Alright, I've loaded up the tab for this one. Or these two, rather.
Oh.